Hello, welcome to my little devlog thing. This is my little channel explaining my process and just little weekly updates on what I'm working on and the game design around it. It's interesting. At least I think it is. These videos are probably going to be pretty rough around the edges. I'm not sure about how I should go about doing this. I would love suggestions. But it's gonna be rough, I think. But that's okay. That's life. That's life. But you gotta make a start somewhere. I'm currently making a little submarine game, and I want to start making devlogs. Not about this game specifically, but just games in general, and my experiences with making art. So here we are. So I'm planning to make weekly videos on the stuff and art I am working on. It doesn't have to be specifically game design, but that's mainly where I want to stick my focus. What I think right now, I mean, it's going to take some experimentations, but I think I want to start with weekly videos, weekly content, right? Content. The idea is that I make stuff over the week and then I upload a video summarizing it. And that's basically what this is. Currently, I'm making this submarine game. The reason why I want to make it in the first place was because I played a really cool game called Iron Lung, and I'm sure you've probably heard of it. It's a great game. It's really fun. Kudos to the developer. It's very good. It's a very scary game, I will say. A lot more scarier than I thought it would be, but it builds a really good ambience. And after playing this game, I want to make my own submarine game. And I don't know if I've been quote unquote successful at this point, but what I have, I think, is interesting. It's interesting. It's all a learning process, right? You make as you go and you learn as you go. So currently, I have this little submarine game that is, at this point, pretty wildly off. Not even really close to style anymore, Iron Lung. But that's just sometimes how it goes. That's just derivative art. And what I mean by derivative art, just generally in my experiences, as I make art, like something else, it tends to stray away from that and become something it is on its own. And personally, I think that almost all art works this way. So I got to work. I made this little model. I made little pipes, little machineries for the game, and it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad so far. Just some simple models for a simple game. And this nice little submarine that's got this little character, this little charm with all these texturings I put into it, and I'm kind of happy with it right now. It does need some work, but generally, I'm kind of happy with it, especially with only learning Substance Painter and texturing as a whole only for a few days. I'm quite happy with it for what it is. I've always struggled with texturing, and it's not bad. I don't think it's bad, though. I also modeled this little helmet. The modeling is quite simple, and the UV maps didn't come out the way I really wanted to. The helmet's kind of jank. That's okay. I kind of like a little bit of jank. It's a little rough, we could say. It's not that great, but I think I want to remake it. Maybe I want to even turn into a 3D model instead. So like it's a 3D model that'll be overlaid on the camera rather than an image. I think that would be a lot better because it would, rather than being like a flat image on the screen, that's just basically an overlay. It can just be this whole model. And I can have like this depth to it that makes it feel more like you really are in a mask. I think it adds that more first person feel, which I'd like to develop a bit more. But that's just a helmet. Now the reactor, kind of like half circle thing, which I was trying to make to a reactor, but it's not that great, honestly. It's missing character, I think. I also have a repair system where the machines become damaged and spark up. And you can go around, press E on them, and you can quickly repair them. I do have a submarine system flood system that is basically a mesh that rises as water level rises. And it works pretty well for what it is. I want to add a shader for it or something just to give it kind of more of a watery kind of feel, or at least just a nice texture for it. The flood system works in the sense that there's a drain rate and a fill rate. And every time there's damage on this ship, the fill rate will go up and it'll go higher than the drain rate, so it will slowly fill with water. And then the water level will naturally go down. Now that's the main functionality for the helmet, which is to stop you from drowning when the water's high. Things can get damaged and sparked up, maybe oxygen. For the oxygen generator, the little circular reactor, I want maybe it could be lights or just overall movement. Then same for power and other little things like that. I want this to be more like an existential horror than like big fish kind of horror. It is a submarine, but I kind of want that to be almost a red herring to what the horror is. I want the horror to be more paranormal in the sense of almost like madness, like maddening. Like I would love to make like I think I might just remove those game objects and instead just having the submarine going forward, because the idea is that I think I want the horror itself to be a bit more paranormal in the sense that you have these cameras outside the submarine and you can see some weird monster thing, right? And I think I want to mess with a bit of audio around the submarine and have this whole kind of the closer you get to your destination, the more paranormal it gets, the more scary it gets, the more things break, the more things like lights go out and other things like that. And I do like that idea, and I want to go with that idea. I mean, there's some caveats and little things to work out. I do want to use, because I'm using Unity engine to make this, I do want to use Unity's timeline, but that might be not, this might not be the right project for something like that. I do want to make something a bit more story oriented, I think, in terms of another project after this. Something a bit less mechanically complicated, quote unquote. Something that's a bit more simple and narrative, because I like stories a lot and I'd love to make a story. So I'm thinking about doing that next, but currently I want to keep working on this sub game. I'm going to make these videos weekly, so around the same time next week, I'm going to post my progress on the sub game and some other things like that. I like to practice some things too, but generally speaking, that's it. Thank you for watching. I'd really love to hear suggestions or feedback or anything like that, because this is probably really rough of a video and I'm trying to get my bearings for how I should do this and the skill of it and like editing and things like that. So like it's gonna be a long journey, but I think it'll be a fun one. Yeah, I hope so at least. Thanks for watching. Bye.